Hey survivors, if you know all about nutrition and Project Zomboid, you can skip this video. You might know that the right nutrition can get you an experience multiplier, better endurance, better melee damage, and a faster walking speed, but if you don't know how this works, stick around. We're going to talk about fat, protein, carbohydrates, and calories, and at the end, I'm going to recommend some good emergency rations to help you keep on top of nutrition. So let's get into it. First things first, your character has something I call a nutrition bank. Let me show you how this works. Let's start with protein. If you eat food, the protein value of that food gets added to your bank account. Then over time, this amount gets reduced. From my testing and looking into the code, I can tell you that we lose 3 protein per hour. Now, here's why this matters. Protein affects your strength experience. If you have at least 50 protein in the bank, you get a 50% bonus on your strength experience. But if you have negative 300 protein or lower, you get minus 30% on strength experience. And anything in the middle is just regular experience gain. So hit the protein if you want to bulk up. Now, let's take a look at calories. Calories are a huge topic, but in simple terms, calories control your weight. You might already know that weight is super important in Zomboid because it controls your movement speed, melee damage, and endurance recovery, so pay attention to your calories. Now, obviously, if you eat food, that calorie value of the food gets added to your bank. Then you constantly lose calories. But the exact amount here changes based on your activity level, so check out my calorie video at the end of this if you want to know more about that. The short version for now is if you have more than 1600 calories in the bank, you will see this little weight watcher arrow that appears, and it tells you you are gaining weight. Then if you have less than 0 calories, that arrow points down and you are losing weight. Try to keep your weight around the 80 kilogram mark to avoid the penalties that come with being over or underweight. Now we're going to talk about fats and carbohydrates, and again, this is about weight. Fats and carbs will modify your weight gain. Now here's what they do. If you have 400 fat or 400 carbs in the bank, your weight gain will double whenever your calories let you gain weight. But if you have 700 fat as well as 700 carbs at the same time, your weight gain is actually going to triple. Let me know how you might exploit this during character creation. As usual, you gain these things from eating your food, but you actually lose these at different rates. You lose 12.5 carbs per hour and 4 fat per hour. Now, just a soft warning here, I did find some unused code in the game that will severely punish you if your fat and protein gets too low. If these two values dip too far into the negatives, they can effectively destroy your endurance recovery. That's right, in the worst case, they would basically reduce your endurance recovery to 0. We're talking fats, we're talking protein, and this means chronic, unending exhaustion during starvation right up until you died. This was something the devs were experimenting with when they built the nutrition system, so it's in the code, but for now it is not in the game. It's not being used. Okay, but that's enough about that. Now let's talk about food and cooking. Did you know that all of your skills in cooking actually make your food more nutritious? You can see with my salads here that higher cooking levels actually makes your food more nutritious. Now, in the real world, being a good cook does not add protein and calorie and fat and carbs value to your food, but in Zomboid, sure, we'll take it. We'll take all we can get. Okay, but what if you don't have any food to cook? Well, let me make some recommendations for an emergency food stash. Before I give you the list, you need to know this. Based on the numbers I gave you earlier, we're losing nutrition values at a constant rate. In total, we lose about 300 carbs, 96 fat, and 72 protein every single day. And based on my rough estimates, we also lose about 2200 to 3600 calories per day. So here are some items you can grab in the early game for some emergency nutrition. First and best, peanut butter will meet your daily nutrition needs for calories, fats, and proteins. Then a box of cereal will nail your calories and carbs and almost takes care of your protein too. Next up is a can of oats, which gets all of your carbs and proteins as well as half of your fats and quite a bit of calories. The nice thing here is that all of these foods are non-perishable, so you can store them away for a long time. But we do have a perishable runner-up here. A full ham will get you nearly double your daily protein, almost all of your fats, and also a good chunk of your calories. If you found this helpful, you can help us out with a like if you're feeling generous, visit my website for some games and Zomboid mods, or check out these next Zomboid videos. Thanks for watching and stay safe, survivors.